What's going on, guys? We're rolling straight through. We are finishing up. We're getting close to the end of our Get to Know Your Athlete portion of our Clash on the Coast coverage. Biggest 105 kilogram show in the history of Strongman. It's going down on Hilton Head Island on the 30th of April. We're just barely 2 weeks out. It's coming up quick. So we're getting all the athletes down. Remember, it's going to be live streamed for free on Core Sports. They're teamed up with WUS. That's the same partnership that brought us Thor's deadlift world record during the shutdown and all the other strongman records that kept us entertained while life was miserable. And it's going to be aired on ESPN. The finals are going to be on ESPN a few weeks after. So I'm looking forward to that. So I want to give you guys some insight into who is competing and who you should be rooting for, who the underdogs are, what some of their histories are as far as competing and placing in some of the bigger shows. So we're getting into heat number 5. We're almost to the end here. Now, this is one that is near and dear to my heart because yours truly is in it. So I'm going to do my best to evaluate everybody else as honestly as I can. And we're going to get a pool going on what my odds are for actually making it past this group. Starting out is Zach Carlin. Now, Zach Carlin is a big unknown here because as far as I know, he doesn't really have a strongman competitive record. He hasn't been at any of the bigger shows in the last few years. His Instagram really doesn't feature any contest placings or even really any contest training. Now, he's a very strong overhead presser. I believe he hit a 368 axle clean and jerk, which was only bested by Andrew Clayton's 374, 370 something. Very good overhead presser. He posts a lot of overhead press videos. A lot more so than he posts any lower body videos. So it's hard for me to get a handle on how strong he is. He only got 6 reps on the 600-pound deadlift. Now, to anybody, 600 reps is a strong showing on a deadlift. But in this field, it's behind the curve a little bit. So the rest is going to be made up by his athleticism and his experience. I saw a post where he said specifically he doesn't have the implements to train, which does not bode well for him. Even if you are the type of athlete who's very adaptable and can pick things up really quick, it can move well with anything. I've met those people. In this field, you can't give up that amount of preparation. It just doesn't work. At an amateur show, maybe. It's possible somebody who's a freak athlete can go to like nationals and do well out of the blue. Those people definitely exist. Not in this type of field because not only do you have the best talent, the best responders, but you have the people that are dialed in and trained the most. Everything's to the nth degree here. So Carlin, I don't think is a threat here. I think he's doing this for experience. I think he's doing it because he saw the opportunity and he made his way in and he took it. And I think it'll be a great experience for him. But in this heat, I don't think specifically he's a threat. I don't know what kind of squatter he is. I know he's very good overhead. If he's explosive, he might do well in the keg toss just because he's a good athlete. But really, it's the moving events. I don't see him being as conditioned or as precise because these are things that require a ton of practice to come in dialed in. So going from Carlin, the next up is Josh Eisele. Now, I've met Eisele. He took 13th at this last Nationals. He's done some of the shows around here. He did a Stones of Strength a couple years back, and I got to see him carry. He can carry anything for any amount of distance. He can carry a 350 rock from the ground like 500 feet. He's a nasty front carrier. The thing about Eisele is he's either 6'5 or 6'6. He's the tallest middleweight I've ever seen. When you look at him, it doesn't make sense because you would think that you could not compete unless your frame was more filled out, which would make you heavier. But he's actually very strong. He has something on the order of an 800-pound deadlift. Like I said, he's picked and carried 500-pound Husafell stones. He is very strong. The only reason he doesn't do well, the only reason he isn't a pro by now is his overhead holds him back. I don't know if he has some shoulder issue or some injury. He has something that limits him from pressing, so he frequently zeroes the overhead press. So at Nats, he was 13th. Remember, out of 73 people, that's with a 0 on the log press. So put that in perspective. 73 points at stake. He lost 73 points in one event and still took 13th out of 73 people. That's damn impressive. He's very good. He was actually someone I was worried about being in against this type of event because he's probably going to win 4 out of 6 events. He's likely to zero the overhead, but even if he zeros a 600-pound squat, which I'm not really sure he will, he's likely going to win the keg toss and the 3 light, fast moving events. He's extraordinarily fast because he has these long damn legs. He finishes the course in 5 steps. So I was actually very worried to be in the same group with him. Sure enough, I'm in the same group with him. So right off the bat, I mean, he's one of my favorites to get in just because he's so good at these events that require like no margin for error. Everybody else is fighting for quarters of a second, and he's just like 10 seconds faster than everybody. So he's a very nasty athlete to watch out for. He's fun to watch compete. Definitely atypical for a middleweight, and that's what gives him an edge on these types of events. So then you go into Adam Geiger. Adam Geiger got his pro card. He took second at nationals in 2018. So, anyways, Adam's very athletic and very fast. He's good with a dumbbell. I don't think his static strength beyond that is very good in the sense that it's a hole in his game. It's where he gives up points to other guys. All these guys are strong compared to most any lifter you come across. But when you're comparing them to each other, the separation starts to really show. So he took 10th at the Arnold in 2019. He took 6th at ASM this last year out of, I think, 12 or so guys. So he's a very decent pro. He's finishing mid-pack at ASM. Again, very athletic, very fast. He's probably going to do very well in the keg toss. I expect him to do well in the moving event. I would not be surprised if he zeroed the squat, but then again, I don't know what kind of squatter he is. It's entirely possible that it's a good event for him, and I just haven't seen anything from him. But he's one that I want to beat for retribution purposes, but he's also one that is good at all the things I'm nervous about doing bad at. So that creates this dynamic. Him and Eisele are going to be very fast on the moving events, and that's a lot of what these qualifying events are. So then we go to Nick Cambi. Now, Nick Cambi's on a tear. He's increased dramatically over the last couple of years. He's known for his overhead press ability. He split jerks very well. I think he's done 450 off blocks, which is incredible for a non-Olympic lifter. And just as much as you want to say, well, it's smoke and mirrors, he's jumping under the weight to split jerks on an actual press. He push press 400 for a double, and it wasn't that hard. Like, there was a video of Bobby Thompson push pressing 400 for a double on an axle, and Bobby's looked harder than Cambi's. Cambi's very explosive. He moves very well. He's really good at stones and loading. He's very fast on a yoke. He's very good at a lot of events. He took second at ASM this last year, right behind Anthony Deal. So Cambi initially was my favorite to take this group. Now, there's some unknowns. I don't know what type of squatter Cambi is. Again, if he's at risk of zeroing the squat, that creates a big gap in points where even if you're perfect on the other event, somebody can come in and suck out a placing over you by a point or two. So you can't really afford to give up that many points in this type of group. Now, that being said, he very well may be a competent squatter, and it might not be a problem for him. We'll see. He's going to do very well in the overhead event. He's going to do okay in the keg toss. His toss has gotten a lot better. It used to be a big weakness for him. So we'll see how much better it's gotten. Like I said, Eisele, I have slated to win the keg toss and the 4 moving events. And then we'll see exactly how dialed in Cambi is to these moving events. I don't see a lot of posting from him about those types of events, and those require the most precision, the most dialing in. If Cambi makes the finals, the final events are fantastic for him. I mean, he's a nasty stone loader. There's a max stone in it. He'll probably set an axle record. It opens with a max axle. He's really good at a yoke. There's a yoke run. He's good at a side handle deadlift. That's in there. There's a fingal finger, which he's probably good at. If he gets through the finals, I have him as a favorite. But then again, it's in my best interest not to have him as a favorite. I am pretty damn sure I'm going to win the squat in this event. I'm very, very confident with that event, especially if depth is low. That's the thing I'm worried about. The squatting event, depth could go a couple different ways. They could be really militant and have everybody right at a good parallel depth, or they could let some things go on, which I've seen it shows in the past. There was a squat event at a big show a couple years ago where they had you come to a stop, but the holes for the stop were separated every 2 inches. So you had some people that were a little too low, and you had some people that were actually way too high. And it was obvious in the disparity of performances. If somebody was 3 inches high, which a few were, they got endless reps, where somebody actually had to go to parallel was an entirely different thing. So if it's a little high, I don't do a lot of high partial squats. I see a lot of guys doing high box squats. That's a very specialized movement. If it's to depth, if it's a good parallel squat, I'm very, very confident and I'll be able to perform over a wide array. I think my toss is doing good. I expect to take probably second to last in the toss, which I expected. That's not something that's going to keep me up. I knew I was going to give those points up. And then my plan is for the other moving events, I have to be second or third. I have to wedge myself in right in the middle. I have to make sure I take some points from Cambi, take some points from Geiger, and that's all I can hope for. And we'll see where it falls at the end of the day. So what I have my eyes set on, Eisele, I'm not even worried about, because the things he's better at me than, I can't catch him in. There's nothing I could do to catch him in a keg toss or these moving events. I mean, he's moving 8 to 10 seconds faster than I am in all of the medleys. If anybody clears out all 5 implements in the loading medley in the sand, it's likely to be him. It's just the gap in static strength between squatting and overhead events that I have to bank on him opening up a gap or making a mistake. But I can't, focusing on him doesn't do anything for me. The 2 I have my eyes on, assuming Carlin's lack of experience kind of prevents him, disqualifies him from being in with this group. The 2 I have my eyes on are Geiger and Cambi. I need to chip points away from both of them. I'm reasonably confident I have Geiger on the static events. It will be close on the moving events. If I can take one moving event from him, that'll be huge. But again, that requires being perfect. And honestly, you never like to root for somebody messing up, but it might require him messing up. Similarly with Cambi, it's going to be very close because I believe I can get him in the overhead event. I believe I get him in the squat. Kegs is going to be very close because he's not a fantastic thrower, but he has gotten better. So I can't even predict right off the bat. My kegs have gotten marginally better in the last couple of weeks, so we'll see. That's a big unknown for me. I planned on placing at the bottom just to accept that those points won't be there. If I do better, then that's a bonus for the day. But I'm trying to work my strategy around assuming my worst events aren't going to be something I can lean on, because I'm past the point where you can think about pulling out a miracle. So that goes down to the 3 moving events. Again, farmer to duck walk, 50 feet each way. The winner's going to get, Eisele's probably going to get 19 seconds or so. The other good guys are going to be 22 to 24 seconds. It's going to be razor thin. 300-pound bag to chain drag of indeterminate weight. Same thing. Winner's going to be around 19 to 20 seconds, with the other fast guys being 23 to 24. It's really just about me getting right in the middle, which means everything, my pick has to be perfect, my transition has to be perfect. And when they are, I move pretty quick. I'm a threat, but I'm also a head case. I get my own way a lot, and I've lost more than a few contests from bobbles, stumbles, taking too long to pick, and so on. So that's in my head. I go back and forth between being very confident I'm going to get in and having absolutely no confidence whatsoever. Looking at this event, I'm inclined to give it to Cambi and Eisele by a big margin. But again, it comes down to, is the squat going to be a factor? Is anybody going to zero? Because that will turn the placings on their head. Can I slip in and suck out a performance on the moving events? These are all unknowns we're not going to know the day of. All I can do is drill the things I have the most ground to make up on. And that's all I've been doing so far. So we'll see if that pays off. So taking myself out of the equation, I would give this to Cambi and Eisele. But it's my goal to knock Cambi off his pedestal. So we'll see. I would absolutely love to get into the finals just for the opportunity, but you have to earn it. This is a difficult contest for me. This does not exploit my strengths. It is lopsided towards moving and speed, which is very relevant, very important for Strongman, but it's also the thing that I've had to work the hardest to make up ground in. So this will be very interesting to see. So let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. Until next time, this is Bromley. I'll see you.